Today I'm going to discuss the pros and cons of buying a piano online. I hope I can generate some good commentary with this one. Hi, this is Ted Barsula with Alamo Piano Galleries. If you haven't already, please take a look at our website at alamopianogalleries.com. And also, I'm requesting you subscribe to the channel and tell everyone you know to try to do the same thing so we can boost up our membership. This is going to be an interesting topic, so also if you have any questions or comments or any suggestions, go ahead and leave those down below. And we've been responding with the viewers' request for videos. It's kind of funny that no one's ever really asked for pros and cons of buying a piano online. And I'll tell you right up front, you're getting this from a guy who works for a business that sells pianos online. And also, there are pros and cons, and it's going to think like, am I going to get an honest opinion out of this guy? Well, I'll tell you what. I was here before people were selling pianos online, and I was here when they first started. So I'm just going to tell you my experience and my insight. And the first thing I want to do with this question is to just split it in half right here, right now. And I'm not going to say it depends. I'm going to ask another question. Should I buy a piano online? Real piano acoustic or digital piano? That's the split I want to make. And first, I want to talk about digital pianos. And my response to that is, by all means, get one online, period. End of conversation. Well, why? Well, there's pros and cons. What are the pros of buying a digital piano online? Well, they drop ship. It'll come to your house. You can buy it from drop ship, which means you're probably buying it from a middleman that has access to the manufacturer, maybe cutting out a delivery guy. So yeah, that leads to another thing. One of the pros is that it's supposed to be cheaper, and generally it will be because you're requiring not a whole lot of service. The other thing is pricing and delivery. That was the one thing. A lot of times if you buy a certain thing that they have a lot of, they'll give you free delivery. So just buying the thing and having it to your house is free. And last but not least, if you're buying it from an out-of-state provider, there's a high probability you won't have to pay tax. That sounds great. The problem is you won't be able to play it. That's the first con. The first thing against it is you won't be able to try out the instrument. And that is a major thing for some people. A lot of teachers and students that are having to report to a teacher as to what they're practicing on, this can be a real sticking point. They want weighted keys or spring-loaded keys. They want a certain kind of thing. And you can't try it before, so I'm not sure I'm going to like it. I can tell you that almost all digital pianos within the same price range are going to offer you about the exact same kind of details. There may be a few companies that may give away a few extra other things that other companies don't have or may charge for. The bottom line is they're all pretty much going to play like a really good replica acoustic upright piano. Some of them even play like grand pianos. Of course, then you're getting into the expensive ones that are going to cost as much as a grand piano. So that leads to the next problem, which is what do you do if you need repairs or you need service on something that you buy online and there isn't a local place around? Well, that's kind of a hassle. And in between repairs and service, what's missing is someone's opinion or representation of that product. And that comes back to can't try it before you buy it. And a lot of keyboards that are below a certain price range, it's not advantageous for us, a brick and mortar store, to open up anything that a customer wants to try if we only have one or two of, because then our online sale is compromised by something that's already arrived looking like it's been opened already. And no one wants that. That's not brand new online. Brand new online means no one ever opened the box, unless you've been advised otherwise, and the price should reflect it. The repairs and service, you're going to find out what usability there really is to a warranty. If it's a manufacturer's warranty, guess who fixes it? The manufacturer. If they don't have a representative in your area, you're going to have to ship that thing to them so they can fix it and then ship it back to you, and hopefully it's fixed. So a middleman, a brick and mortar store, or a local rep, A lot of people come in here and play keyboards maybe for an hour or two, and they walk out and they go home and buy it online. A lot of times, believe it or not, they buy it online from us, so they know that if they need repairs or service, they can just bring the unit right back in. So there's another thing, trade-ins. While we don't take a lot of trade-ins that are digital, some of the larger, more expensive upgrade models that are getting maybe rolled out into a new one are not in production anymore, and I'm not talking about 25 and 30-year-old units. There isn't a whole lot of trade-in on an electronic item. And the trade-in values, if you buy a digital piano, no matter how much you pay for it, it's going to be equivalent to if you buy a digital phone today and you have to sell it tomorrow. Trade-in value on any kind of iPhone or Android or any kind of handheld electronics device, the depreciation is almost immediate. However, the usability of that item is one of the most sought after things in the planet. So like, there's always a market for it. You can get rid of it. And in terms of a digital piano, if you look and you find and you listen, there's always someone that's looking to pick up an affordable digital piano, regardless of how it plays or what the sound is on it or anything like that. In this concept of digital pianos and should you buy one online, the reason why I adamantly say yes is because I actually make a living demonstrating these keyboards online and talking about them. And part of it, I've said this to customers, other salesmen have said this to customers. That's not an overly expensive keyboard. There's thousands of demos online. In fact, our own store demos these things online, and you can listen to them as you should with headphones on, so you can really hear what these keyboards sound like. And there are a lot of demos where a guy's recording it on a phone with a phone camera and a phone microphone. That's not how we shoot our videos here. Our videos are shot with high quality production to give you the real, truer experience by putting on the headphones and touching the keyboard almost as if you're doing it yourself. Yeah, I don't play what you play or what you like, but when people suggest something, I try to go out and learn it just so I can demo it. Even our acoustic piano recordings are just flawless, and they are just as good, if not better, than digital recordings I made with really expensive microphones in a studio 25, 30 years ago. What we put out on a weekly basis here is just amazing in sound quality. The reason why we do it is some people could pick up the phone and say, I want to buy this keyboard. Do you have it? What's your best price? Do you have, what do they call it, a bundle? Can I get a bench, a stand, some cords, and some really good sounding headphones with it? People will put together their own prices and tell you what they want to pay for something. And that's usually the beginning of the closing process. You can do all of that by text, on a phone conversation, or even through chat online store or through emails. Buying online sure is a hassle-free way of getting something, provided you know what you want, you know what you're expecting, and things turn out the same. So there are people that buy cars online, and I've heard from almost everyone unsolicited say it's the best car buying experience they ever had. So that could be true for a digital piano. Is buying a digital an acoustic piano online, what are the pros and cons of that? Well, the pros and cons literally are kind of the same thing, but I don't know a single person, unless it's a college professor or a person buying, a professional buyer, that whether they play or not doesn't matter. They have an order to fill. I need a grand piano for the lobby of this blank place. It's a venue, it's a hotel, it's an airport, and I have a $35,000 budget to put a player piano in there. How can I get the mostest for the leastest? And that's a typical buyer's job. That kind of piano is probably going to be best served bought online. A lot of times they have corporate buyers so they can try to get advantage of discounts because we buy so much stuff, et cetera, et cetera. But the pros, drop ship, I'm not so sure a drop ship for an acoustic piano is good, because especially say a decent sized grand or an expensive upright piano player unit or not, you're gonna need someone on the other end to set that thing up. And the pricing and delivery, it'll be certainly a lot cheaper by cutting out a middleman. You may get a deal on delivery, but at the delivery end, you're going to need a setup person, which is going to be a piano crew and a tuner. It will be cheaper. A lot of universities order based on bid factors. So I want a Yamaha this or a Kawai that, or even a Roland this. And what are your bids and prices? We're collecting them because we're going to make a purchase. And again, that no tax thing, if you're buying it out of state, if the state doesn't collect taxes for online purchases, some of that's starting to change in a few states. All those pros certainly apply. It's a matter of convenience. We have done sales like this. I have done sales like this in the past, and it's always been for like a major hotel or either a military contract, something for a military base, or a college or a university where they say, we have a budget for a blank 6-foot piano, and this is the one we want, and we're accepting bids. So what's your price with delivery and setup and 2, 3, 4, 5 tunings over the first 1 or 2 years? And that we do, and I do highly recommend it. However, that is a purchase coming from an extremely informed, knowledgeable source. They know what they're getting, or they don't care what they're getting. This is how they do their business. They don't send a guy out and finagle with a guy and to argue opinions and stuff. The cons are always there. You can't try it before you buy it. I don't know a single college professor or a military trainer or anyone buying for a public institution that's going to make a piano decision without going there and looking at the actual serial number that will be delivered and play it. It's just something that is almost, everyone says, hey, you could buy the exact same piano and one in front of the other production and they'll be different. And that is 100% true, especially on handmade instruments or on production line. They're going to be very, very similar, but it might just have that one quirky thing that one person doesn't buy, so they take a different one. It's that simple. And what that does is that avoids the need for repairs, for service calls, and also for having to return an acoustic piano, which is a very expensive major hassle. Why is that? Well, you got to get another delivery crew. And before that happens, someone has to go out there in person and inspect it and see, why is it being returned? Was it damaged? Is it a lemon unit? Is it this, that, and the other? So everything that makes it a pro, which is you don't have to get involved, you don't have to spend your time, if something goes south, becomes a major con and a major hassle. So it's a reason to maybe really think twice about spending anyone's public money, last of all your own, without trying out a piano. And because the return is a hassle, and I don't know too many places. I do know that some of our salesmen have put together blank deals based on, I have a trade-in that goes with this purchase I've been talking to you about. And they pull this out about the same time they pull out their wallet, which is, well, before we agree, what can you give me for my granny's old Baldwin grand piano or Yamaha or whatever she had? Trade-ins are better off with a generic, how much did you think you were going to get? 1,000 or 2? Fine. Agree to it and then go forward. If it's a bid, it might be a problem. They may be expecting a little bit too much, and then they always want to sell you one of those steel dollies back because they're not going to need it because you're taking the piano in, so how much are you going to give me for the piano and the dolly? So there's a lot of things that need to be worked out. Sometimes you can't always do that with an institutional sale or something that might be conditionalized in the payment, such as I need a trade-in on this for at least that amount, and I can't spend more than this because that's all we really have in cash for this purchase. So there are pros and cons of buying online, but I'm going to tell you what, I've read a number of things, and the bottom line is says stay local. You can stay local and still buy online and try to get by with the least amount of human interference and something that'll make you happy, unless you want a lot of human interference or you want some humans to help you out along the way by giving you their opinion and telling you, is it really cheaper? Does it really come with free delivery? And how come my state charges tax? That's ruining the deal for me. And then repairs, trade-ins. The bottom line, you're really better off. These are all different things that I looked at. And buying a piano online, everything still applies. You get to pick the color, you get to pick whatever kind of accessories. The bottom line is you have to look and see, is it really, really cheaper? In some instances, and this is what I tell people, it depends. It depends on what you're buying, who's buying it, how quick you need it, what are the conditions. If you're going to rent the piano for a major artist coming through a city, let's say you're a producer, I need to rent a piano. Well, there's only one way to do that, and that's pros and cons, and which is it's easier for me to just book the best piano they have and pay for it. Otherwise, the guy's not going to want to play on something junky. And as we get closer, we'll go in and check out the piano and make sure everything is cool. If not, we'll make some last-minute arrangements or upgrade. So it depends. And I always say, split it in half. Is it digital piano or a keyboard and an acoustic piano? On an acoustic piano, I'm not getting too overly facetious perhaps in my old age, but I've come to believe that people accept for a fact what they know about pianos is pretty much based on a collection of other people's opinions and what they formed of their own, which means that what people know about pianos is just basically their own opinion. And so whether you want to buy online or not, some people, I buy everything online. Great, buy a piano online. Buy a car online. I've heard there have been great, wonderful experiences. I'm not being sarcastic here. We have many, many, many happy customers that just can't believe they bought that one piano that they've been waiting for their whole life online. And it was delivered and they never even met the salesperson except on the phone or through a chat or both in text. So with that, I'll remind you, I am Ted Barslew, available here to answer all of your questions about pianos. And I get calls from all over the place, but not too recently. So if you have questions, comments, go ahead and list them down there. And if you have any statements, and certainly this is where I want to get a lot of comments built up. If you bought anything online that even resembles a piano or a digital piano, we want to hear about it. I want to hear what your experience is. Not a long, drawn-out drama story, but I bought this online, greatest experience. I got this, I had problems, and we've resolved it. I'll be looking for you here next time. Thank you so much for your viewership, and we will be looking for you to shop our store and visit us right here at alamopianogalleries.com. Thank you so much.